If you have been in a car accident in Tennessee and the insurance company already tossed out a number, I want you to pause. Not because you're being difficult, but because lowball offers happen when you are tired, hurting, and just trying to get your life back to normal. Here's the truth. The insurance company is not doing a favor by offering quick money. They are trying to close your claim cheap before the full story of your injury shows up on paper. I'm Tennessee attorney John Griffith, and this is general information, not legal advice for your specific case. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 practical tips that help stop the lowball game and put you back in control. By the end, you'll know what to do, what not to say, and how to build a claim that is hard to dismiss. Tip number 1, don't accept the first offer. The first offer is almost never the best offer. It is a test. It is the adjuster filling out 2 things. First, how desperate you are. Second, how informed you are. If you accept quickly, the message they get is simple. You will take less to make the headache go away. And here's the part people do not realize until it is too late. In most injury cases, when you accept a settlement, you sign a release. That release usually closes the claim for good. So if you take the check and later found out you need injections, surgery, or months of physical therapy, you typically cannot go back and ask for more. What to do instead is simple. Thank them for their offer. Tell them you are not ready to discuss settlement until you understand your medical condition. Ask for the offer in writing. Ask exactly what the offer includes and what it requires you to sign. If the adjuster pushes you with, "We need an answer today," or "We're going to close your claim," treat that like a warning siren. A fair offer does not need a deadline designed to rush you into signing away your rights. Tip number 2, build a paper trail the insurance company cannot ignore. Insurance companies do not value your pain based on how sincere you sound. They value your claim based on documentation. Your job is to turn your case from a story into a file. A clean file wins negotiations. Here's what the file should include: crash proof, photos of both vehicles, close and wide, skid marks, debris, lane markings, traffic lights, signs, weather and lighting conditions, a photo of the other driver's license, an insurance card if possible, witness names and numbers, official proof, the crash report, or at least the report number and the responding agency. If an ambulance responded, get those records too. Injury proof, photos of injury on day 1, then every few days as bruising develops. Medical records from each provider you've gone to. Diagnosis notes, treatment plans, restrictions, referrals to other providers. Expense proof, every bill, every receipt, mileage to appointments, prescription costs, parking fees, medical devices like braces, crutches, wraps. Work proof, pay stubs, a letter from your employer confirming missed time. If you use sick days or vacation days, track that too. If you're self-employed, gather invoices, cancel jobs, and a simple profit and loss snapshot. And here's a big one most people skip. Keep a daily journal, not a dramatic diary, but a simple log. Write down your pain levels in the morning and at night, sleep issues, activities you cannot do, driving anxiety, household chores you cannot handle, how long you can sit, stand, or walk before symptoms spike. This journal becomes the bridge between medical records and real life. It helps prove the part of your case the insurance company always tries to shrink: how the injury changed your day-to-day life. Tip 3, treat consistently and follow the plan. If you want to stop lowballing, you have to remove the insurance company's favorite argument: if you were really hurt, you would have been treated. Gaps in treatment are oxygen for adjusters. They will use a 2-week gap in your treatment to argue that you were fine, or that something else caused your pain, or that you failed to mitigate your damages. So, here's the rule. If you are hurt, get evaluated quickly and follow through. Not because you're trying to impress the insurance company, but because you're trying to protect your health and building a clear timeline. That means go to the ER or urgent care if you need to, follow up with your doctor, do the imaging if it is ordered, show up to physical therapy, take medications as directed, Do home exercises if they give them to you. And if you can't afford care, do not disappear. Talk to a lawyer. There may be ways to get treatment while the case is pending. Also, be honest with your doctor. If your neck hurts, but your headaches are worse, say that. If driving makes you dizzy, say that. Doctors document what you report, or at least they're supposed to, and those notes matter later when the adjuster tries to pretend your symptoms are minor. Consistent treatment does two things. It improves your odds of recovery and it makes your injury harder to dismiss. Tip number 4, stop giving the adjuster free ammunition. Adjusters are trained to get you talking, not because they care how you're doing, but because your words can be turned into leverage against you. A few common traps sound harmless. I'm okay. I'm feeling better. It was probably just an accident. Or I didn't see them until the last second, or I might have been going a little bit too fast. Those sentences end up in the claims notes. Later, when you are still in pain, the insurance company points to your own words and uses them against you to justify a smaller payout or to argue that you share fault. In Tennessee, fault matters a lot. Tennessee uses a modified comparative fault rule. If you are found 50% or more at fault, you recover nothing. If you are less than 50% at fault, your recovery can be reduced. That makes it even more important to keep your statements clean and factual. Here's what I recommend. If it is the other driver's insurance company calling you for a recorded statement, you can politely decline. You do not need to volunteer that kind of help to the opponent's insurance company. If it is your own insurance company, give basic facts: where the accident happened, when it happened, who was involved, where the vehicles are located. But do not guess about injuries. Do not guess about your speed. Do not speculate about fault. If you don't know, say you don't know. One more warning: social media. After a wreck, keep your life off the internet. Even innocent photos can get twisted. A smiling picture at a family event becomes, look, they are fine. That's the kind of nonsense adjusters love. Tip number 5, know the real value and use real leverage in your case. Lowballing thrives when you do not know what your claim includes. A fair settlement is not just today's ER bill plus a little extra. A complete claim can include past medical bills, future medical care, physical therapy and rehabilitation, medication costs, lost wages, loss of future earning capacity, out-of-pocket expenses, pain and suffering, loss of enjoyment of life, property damage and related expenses. Most people undercount future costs, especially. They also undercount how much an injury affects their daily life. Here is how you protect yourself. First, do not negotiate seriously until you understand your medical path. If you are still treating, you are still learning what this injury costs, not just financially, but in terms of your daily enjoyment of life. Second, demand clarity on insurance coverage. Sometimes there are additional coverages that can apply, like uninsured or underinsured motorist coverage or medical payments coverage, depending on your policy. Third, use the calendar as leverage. Tennessee has a short deadline for injury cases, often 1 year from the date of the accident to file a lawsuit. That matters. Waiting too long can destroy your leverage and your options. Fourth, package your claim like a professional. A strong demand is organized, supported, and specific. It includes records, bills, wage loss, photos, and a clear explanation of how the injury affected your life. It reads like a timeline, not a rant. And finally, get help sooner rather than later if the case is serious. If you are dealing with surgery, long-term treatment, missed work, or a dispute about fault, the insurance company already has a system. They have adjusters, supervisors, and lawyers. You should have someone who knows the rules and the true value of your claim. Even a quick consult can prevent the most expensive mistakes, like signing a release too early or giving a recorded statement that creates a blame shift to you. Quick recap. Let's lock it in. Tip 1, don't accept the first offer. Tip 2, build a real paper trail. Tip 3, treat consistently and follow the plan. Tip 4, don't hand the adjuster ammunition. Tip 5, know your claim's full value and use leverage. If you do these 5 things, you make it much harder for an insurance company to lowball you, to delay you, or to blame you. Now, if your accident left you with a car that's totaled and you still have a loan, that is a whole different kind of stress, and it can hit your wallet fast if you don't know the rules. So go watch my next video, how to handle a totaled car when you still have a loan. I'll show you exactly how the payout works, how to challenge a bad valuation, how gap insurance fits in, and how to protect your credit while everything is being sorted out. See you there.